First debuting in 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog instantly put Sega on the map as a force to be reckoned with in the gaming industry. Helping the fledgling company quash its competition, Sonic became one of the most beloved pop culture icons in history, who at one time was more recognisable than even Mickey Mouse. 30 plus years on, Sonic has appeared in over 100 video games, moving over 1 billion units. Spawning an entire franchise, Sonic has also appeared in comic books and manga, numerous animated series and anime, and 2 live-action features, soon making way for an entire cinematic universe. In this video, we'll trace the inception and creation of Sonic and spotlight his impact on pop culture, tracing his evolution through games and extended media over the course of 3 decades. In this edition of Cartoon Evolution presents Pop Culture Evolution. In 1985, Nintendo released their very first home video game console, the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System. Sporting iconic games like Donkey Kong, Legend of Zelda, and Super Mario Bros., not only did the NES become one of the best-selling consoles ever, but the savior of a crashed video game industry. By the end of the decade, 1 in 4 US households owned a NES, resulting in Nintendo taking a 90% market share of home consoles and leaving competitors scrambling to catch up. In direct response, Sega released the Mega Drive on the Japanese market in 1988 and in the US in 1989, branded instead as the Genesis. With a 16-bit architecture, it was the most powerful console on the market, with higher resolution, a larger colour field, and innovative super speeds. Though lauded for its arcade quality graphics and gameplay, and despite a directly targeted marketing campaign, the Genesis still couldn't outmatch the NES. While Sega had hoped to sell 1 million units within the first year on the US market, they only sold half that. To Sega, it was clear what their brand was missing: a standout title and a recognisable mascot. When Nintendo had the insanely popular Super Mario, Sega only had disposable characters Alex Kidd and Flicky. Game designer Hirokazu Yasuhara noted, "Sega did not value characters highly in terms of how marketable they could be, but that was about to change." In 1989, soon after the release of Nintendo's Mario 3, then the highest selling video game ever, Sega president Hayao Nakayama launched a company-wide effort to create a character with mascot potential that would be attractive to a US audience and potentially be as iconic and enduring as Mickey Mouse. They additionally wanted to develop an action game to challenge Mario that would show off the graphics and computing power of the Genesis. Over 200 concepts were submitted, featuring all kinds of weird and wonderful characters, but it was illustrator Naoto Oshima who devised the winning concept: a character that runs fast and runs in loops that could star in a side-scrolling platform game. Meanwhile, programmer Yuji Naka had brainstormed a game with a skill-based system allowing a character to gain momentum, something that the sluggish Mario was lacking. The pair were put together to blend concepts and teamed up with Yasuhara to form the very first Sonic team. In designing the character, the artists initially devised a rabbit that could pick up items with his ears and throw them at enemies. However, this not only slowed down gameplay, but turned out too technologically advanced for the game engine, which was built to utilize only one action button, reserved in this case for a jump mechanic, though Yasuhara suggested that this could double for an attack. Naka proposed a somersault attack, where the character could curl into a ball for airborne strikes and fast-rolling terrain movement. With this, the team looked to animals that could roll into a ball, such as armadillos, porcupines, and hedgehogs, of course settling on the latter. Oshima began designing a character initially referred to as Mr. Needlemouse, the literal translation of the Japanese word for hedgehog. In crafting him, Oshima drew from several inspirations. He designed the curvy, circular, large-eyed character after classic American cartoons, taking the head of Felix the Cat, the body of Mickey Mouse, and traditional white gloves. For his shoes, Oshima looked to the boots worn by Michael Jackson in the 1987 Bad music video and album cover. Though thinking the boots were cool, he found black boots were boring and instead coloured them red and white, taking the traditional colours of Santa Claus, who he believed to be the most famous character in the world. Oshima rounded out the design with spikes to give him a hedgehog silhouette and coloured him in the same blue as the Sega logo, tying him inherently into the brand. Wanting the character to embody cool, Oshima gave Mr. Needlemouse a can-do, get-it-done American attitude, styled after the soon-to-be president Bill Clinton. An additional 2 character designs were also created at the insistence of Sega, one which featured the character as a dog and another as a bulbous man with a mustache. Focus groups almost unanimously chose the cool blue hedgehog. The mustachioed man, however, was repurposed as the game's villain when the artists developed the game's final concept, which saw Mr. Needlemouse saving the world from the evil Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman. Yasuhara crafted a stunning, colourful world utilising sprawling hills designed after California, endless loops, pinball springs, dozens of enemies, and the now iconic gold rings, giving the game the roller coaster feel that Naka had always desired. When it was time to officially name the character, the team couldn't go past something that evoked the game's main selling point, the character's speed. Taking the word for a speed greater than that of sound, supersonic, the team chose the name Sonic the Hedgehog. Early concepts also saw Sonic with fangs, a human girlfriend named Madonna, and as the leader of a rock group. While Sega Japan absolutely loved everything about the game, their American marketing team didn't quite get it, finding these ideas in particular too bizarre, convoluted, and adult. Naturally, these concepts were vetoed in effort to make the character more marketable for the American audience. When the game was eventually finished, Sega of America continued to soften the character, creating a promotional poster and box art which Americanized most of the Japanese design elements. Though Sonic Team hated it, Sega of America insisted it be used in perpetuity. Prior to Sonic's official launch, Sega Japan had an incredibly smart marketing idea, first debuting Sonic in their arcade racing game Radmobile, 5 months before Sonic's release. Albeit only as a windscreen ornament, this was a subconscious way to introduce and familiarise the public with the soon-to-be mascot of the company. In June of 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog was finally released, unsurprisingly becoming an instant success. For its first few months, it was the best-selling video game in the US, well and truly outselling Super Mario Bros. With the impending holiday season, Sega made yet another brash marketing decision and bundled a free copy of the game with the Genesis console. Called the riskiest move of that console generation, it ultimately paid off. By November, Genesis sales had risen 500%, and by Christmas, Sonic had sold nearly 1 million copies in the US alone, and by the end of the year, 2 million copies worldwide, taking $1 billion in revenue. Sonic was the best-selling game of 1991, and easily Sega's best-selling game ever to that point. Perhaps even more impressive, that Christmas, the Genesis outsold the brand new 16-bit Super Nintendo Entertainment System 2-1, leading Sega to take a 65% market share, crushing Nintendo down to 35%. The Genesis continued to outsell the SNES for 4 consecutive holiday seasons, with Yasuhara calling it proof that it's possible to defeat the giant. Sega and Sonic team wasted no time developing a follow-up, though with the first's extreme success in the US, production was moved to the newly opened Sega Technical Institute in California, with Naka and Yasuhara moving across. Featuring the same story as the first, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 featured improved graphics, more complex maps, additional actions, and a higher speed cap. Most notably, however, it introduced a sidekick for Sonic, Miles Per Hour, a pun on miles per hour, better known as Tails, an orange two-tailed fox. Single players controlled both characters, with Tails mimicking Sonic's movements thanks to an AI program, though a new multiplayer mode allowed him to be controlled by a second player. On an incredibly fast turnaround, the game released in only a year, in November of 1992, selling 500,000 copies within its first 5 days, and selling out of its initial 3.5 million copies in 2 weeks. Sonic 2 became the highest grossing and fastest selling home entertainment release of 1992. Additionally, Sega produced an 8-bit version of the game for their previous console, the Master System, and their handheld console, the Game Gear. This was followed by 2 8-bit follow-ups, 1993's Sonic Chaos and 1994's Sonic Triple Trouble. Back at Sega Japan, Oshima was developing Sonic CD, a spin-off designed to boast the technological proficiencies of the Sega CD, an add-on for the Genesis which allowed even greater gameplay. Intended as a port of Sonic 2, it was reworked into a time-traveling journey, allowing players to play alternate versions of levels. Selling over 1.5 million copies after its release in 1993, it was the Sega CD's best-selling title, and introduced female hedgehog Amy Rose. Sonic CD is also notable for including traditionally animated cutscenes, technically the first Sonic animation excluding game commercials. By now, Sonic was a phenomenon. Sega inked dozens of multi-million-dollar promotions, including an insanely successful collaboration with McDonald's, which saw Sonic toys bundled with over 50 million Happy Meals. In fact, Q-School ratings at the time even proved that Sonic was more recognizable to children than Mickey Mouse. In 1993, Sonic also became the first ever video game character to get a balloon at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, though during this misfortunate debut, the balloon popped on a lamppost, injuring 2. In 1992, Sonic made his first spin into extended media, a serialized manga strip released by Japanese publisher Shogakukan. Aimed at primary school children and published within study magazines, this superhero-inspired series saw young Hedgehog Nicky gain the ability to turn into the superpowered Sonic the Hedgehog. While Sonic was surrounded by a new cast of characters, Tails and Eggman regularly appeared. Also in 1992, Sega of America CEO Tom Kalinske looked to television animation to broaden the scope of Sonic's marketing strategy. Having worked for Mattel between 1972 and 1987, Kalinske was instrumental in launching the Masters of the Universe line, and saw firsthand how animation could directly impact the success of merchandise. Premiering in 1993, within weeks of each other, were 2 Sonic animated series, produced by Deke Entertainment. Both series featured Sonic in his now famous Americanized design and were produced in reasonably smooth animation, though both were polar opposites in terms of tone. The first series, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, was a syndicated show for the after-school audience, which took on a colourful, zany, exaggerated style, utilising over-the-top gags and slapstick comedy. A light-hearted take on the property, comparable to the Warner Brothers animation and Nicktoons of the era, the series saw the misadventures of teenage Sonic and his pal Tails, as they come head-to-head with the bumbling Dr. Robotnik and his inept robot henchmen. Airing daily, the series ran for 65 episodes across late 1993, before entering repeats across various networks for many years. The second series, Sonic the Hedgehog, was produced exclusively for ABC and aired on Saturday mornings, allowing for an edgier, more action-driven narrative. Set in a dystopian timeline, it saw Sonic and the Freedom Fighters' resistance vying to take back their planet from a tyrannical Robotnik. The series ran for 26 episodes across 2 seasons between 1993 and 1994, and while a third was planned, low ratings led to the show's cancellation, leaving it to end on a cliffhanger. Both series have been criticised by fans, though live on with a cult following. To coincide with the television series, Archie Comics began publishing an American comic book series in 1993. Originally a light-hearted action comedy adventure, it soon took a more dramatic turn, set within the continuity of the Saturday morning cartoon, seeing Sonic and his freedom fighters up against the dictator Eggman. A continuity reboot in 2016, however, saw the series take far more inspiration from the games. Additionally, British publisher Fleetway Publications ran Sonic the Comic between 1993 and 2002, which featured original stories and adaptations of video games, alongside text-based articles. In 1993, Sega Technical Institute began work on Sonic 3, a huge project with a deeper story and levels triple the size of Sonic 2's. The game ended up so enormous that it couldn't fit onto a single cartridge, and so ambitious, Sega couldn't make their release deadline. As such, it was split in half, with Sonic 3 releasing in early 1994 and Sonic and Knuckles that holiday season. To give consumers the full intended experience, Sega developed lock-on technology, which allowed the two games' cartridges to link and form Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Notably, Sonic 3 introduced Sonic's frenemy, Knuckles, a red echidna with dreadlocks. Together, both cartridges sold over 4 million units worldwide and were one of the year's best-selling games. The game was so popular that it's still considered the best of the franchise, and even saw Knuckles given his own platformer in 1995, Knuckles' Chaotix, for the Genesis 32X, a console add-on which allowed for super-powered 32-bit performance. In 1994, the first of many spin-off games began to appear, including pinball game Sonic Spinball and falling block puzzle game Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Several notable spin-offs also appeared on the Game Gear, including Sonic's first racing games Sonic Drift 1 and 2, Sonic's first shooter game Tails' Sky Patrol, and puzzle maze game Sonic Labyrinth. Noteworthy for being the first to feature an isometric perspective and slower pace, with Sonic walking sluggishly through the levels. Unsurprisingly, it's considered one of the worst Sonic games ever. Also at this time, Sega began developing Sonic X-treme, intended as the first fully 3D Sonic game and the premier Sonic title for the brand new Saturn console, Sega's first to utilise CD-ROM gaming. After numerous production issues caused a missed deadline, the game was cancelled in 1997. Technical and narrative elements were reused in future Sonic titles, and working prototypes, such as a free-roaming Sonic world, were repurposed for an interactive portion of 1997's Saturn compilation Sonic Jam. The first Sonic 3D platformer ended up being 1996's Sonic 3D Blast, originally produced and released for the Genesis and ported to the Saturn with improved graphics. However, Sonic's first 3D appearance overall was in 1996 arcade fighter Sonic Championship, released a few months earlier. As a promotional tie-in for Sonic X-treme, Sega and DiC produced an Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Christmas special for the 1996 holiday season. Originally an extremely Sonic Christmas, it was retitled Sonic Christmas Blast to reflect Sega's shift to Sonic 3D Blast. A theatrical Sonic movie was also in the works at MGM as a tie-in. Sonic Wonders of the World would have seen Sonic jumping out of a glitchy extreme game and teaming up with a young boy to defeat an also escaped Robotnik. The film's treatment described Sonic as a 3D CGI guy in the real world, which would have been groundbreaking at the time. Unfortunately, creative differences meant the movie never eventuated, with some speculating MGM pulled out of the deal due to Sonic's declining popularity. In 1996, however, Studio Pierrot did release a 2-part Sonic the Hedgehog original video animation for the Japanese market. This anime returned Sonic to his original Japanese design and saw the Sonic gang fighting Robotnik in a world-hopping adventure. Slightly straying from the original narrative, it incorporated Japanese pop culture iconography, such as giant robots or mechas, and large-scale, over-the-top fight sequences. The two parts were later combined under the title Sonic the Hedgehog the Movie for a 50-minute direct-to-video release with an English dub on the Western market. With the release of Nintendo's 64-bit console, the Nintendo 64, and its record-breaking 11 million copies selling Mario 64, as well as Sony's entry into the video game market with their CD-ROM console, the PlayStation, and its premier title, Crash Bandicoot, Sega was again facing fierce competition. Seeing a near 55% decline in sales and a net loss of almost $270 million, they lost their market majority. In 1998, Sega discontinued the Saturn without launching a benchmark Sonic title for it, often attributed to the failure of the console. The Saturn did feature some Sonic games, though they were either last-generation ports, compilations, or spin-offs. With an obvious need to modernize Sonic, Sega looked to rebuild the franchise from the ground up for their new console, the Dreamcast, launching in 1998. Sega found this the perfect opportunity to craft what Naka would call the ultimate Sonic game, Sonic Adventure. Moving away from the standard side-scrolling platform nature and the isometric designs of the pseudo 3D installments, Adventure was built as the first true 3D Sonic platformer, utilizing a multi-angle third-person camera. Taking on a role-play nature, the game featured a more expansive story and gigantic free-roaming maps, making for one of the largest games ever created at the time. With the game, Sega also developed a new, edgy, more Western character design for the new 3D Sonic. Under lead character designer Yuji Yukawa, Sonic was made slimmer and taller with longer limbs and quills and a smaller head. Additionally, he was given green irises around his pupils, replacing the small black dots. Though artists cited Disney and Looney Tunes characters as inspirations, they ultimately toned down the cuter, rounder, classic cartoon elements. The new design also made room for new dynamic action poses and a range of never-before-seen expressions. Finding that Sonic's light blue colour did not match with the new image, his coat was changed to a navy blue. Overall, artists crafted a character they believed to be cooler, more rebellious, more grown up, and more American in nature. Sonic Adventure sold out within hours alongside the Dreamcast. It's not only been called a triumphant relaunch of the franchise, but one of the best and most innovative created by Sonic Team, leading to the release of a 2001 sequel, Sonic Adventure 2, notable for introducing Shadow the Hedgehog. As a tie-in, Sega and DiC teamed up once more for 1999's Sonic Underground. This series put a whole new spin on Sonic and his lore, featuring the character alongside two siblings, Manic and Sonia, as members of a royal family. The series sees them setting out to fulfill an age-old prophecy to defeat Robotnik, who had overthrown their kingdom when they were children. The series has been described as stranger, darker, and sillier, taking on a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk style with cute and vibrant designs. The series also saw the siblings as members of rock band Sonic Underground, bringing Sonic's rockstar origins full circle. Underground was ill-received, with many disheartened by its different approach and confusing narrative. It ran for only one season of 40 episodes. By the early 2000s, competition continued to crush Sega. Sony, who now held a 60% market share, had just released the revolutionary PlayStation 2, Nintendo was set to release the GameCube, and Microsoft was entering the market with their first console, the Xbox. Despite moderate success, and with only one additional Sonic title releasing on the console, 2000's Sonic Shuffle, a party game designed to rival Mario, the Dreamcast was likewise short-lived, with a steady decline of sales leading to its discontinuation in early 2001. Additionally, Sega announced that they were leaving console development altogether and restructuring as a platform-agnostic third-party developer, meaning henceforth Sega games would be available on various consoles, home computers, and even mobile phones. The first game produced for an outside console was 2001's Sonic Advance, a classic-style Sonic platformer featuring the new modernized design for Nintendo's Game Boy Advance. Moderately successful, the game spawned 2 sequels and 2 spin-offs. Meanwhile, in 2003, Sega released their very first multi-platform Sonic game, Sonic Heroes, which returned to the classic linear style. Also in 2003, Sega and TMS Entertainment debuted Sonic X, a Sonic anime geared towards a Japanese audience. After a technical glitch, Sonic and his pals are transported to Earth, where they team up with a teenager to retrieve the Chaos Emeralds to defeat Eggman and return home. Taking the form of a sci-fi adventure, the series naturally relied on plenty of classic anime tropes and iconography, and while hand-drawn, did utilize some 3D elements. Notably, this was the first animated series to depict Sonic in his modern design, a somewhat stark contrast with the other, more traditional style anime characters and backgrounds. Running between 2003 and 2006 for 3 seasons and 78 episodes, the first season focused on original stories, while the other 2 adapted plots from the Sonic Adventure games and Sonic Battle. Not having to adhere by stringent Western censorship rules, the series was much more adult than previous Sonic entries, featuring coarse language, realistic violence, alcohol consumption, and even sexual scenes. Of course, once the show was repurposed for the Western market, episodes were heavily edited and censored for a children's audience. While the original version of the series was well received, the English language edit was naturally met with fierce criticism. Additionally, in 2003, a new Sonic manga, Dash and Spin Super Fast Sonic by Santa Harukaze, began appearing in serialized form. Over time, the manga presented a total of 19 stories and a smattering of short comedic strips, all of which were disconnected from the game canon and sparsely referenced them. Taking on an action comedy adventure genre aimed at an older audience, the stories featured coarse language, crude humor, and graphic violence. The manga was later collected in 2 tankobon, or trade paperback volumes for the Japanese market in 2003 and 2005, and has never officially been published in any other language. Since the early 2000s, Sonic and Friends have appeared in scores of games for almost every successive console and platform. Notable multi-platform entries include a 2005 Shadow the Hedgehog spin-off, 3 Sonic Riders racing games between 2006 and 2010, and 2008's Sonic Unleashed, an intended revival of the franchise which allowed players to control Sonic the Hedgehog during classic speedy daytime levels and transform into Sonic the Werehog during slower adventure brawler nighttime levels. 2 follow-ups, 2010's Sonic Colors and 2015's Sonic's Lost World, additionally added side-scrolling platform play. Sonic characters have also appeared in 4 Sega Superstars and Sega All-Stars team-up games between 2004 and 2012. Sega even developed a friendly partnership with longtime rival Nintendo. 2 Sonic Rush platformers were released for the DS in 2005 and 2007, while 2 Sonic Storybook series adventure games were released for the Wii in 2007 and 2009, which saw Sonic stepping into literary-inspired fantasy worlds and were the first to implement an experience point and leveling system. Sonic also appeared as the first non-Nintendo character to feature in their Super Smash Bros. Series, appearing in 3 of them between 2008 and 2018. The Sega-Nintendo partnership has even blossomed far enough to spawn a series of Mario and Sonic team-up games, issued for various Olympic Games since 2007, something that would have seemed impossible 30 years ago. For Sonic's 15th anniversary in 2006, Naka led a team to develop a Sonic the Hedgehog reboot, commonly referred to as Sonic 06. It featured linear platform play as well as action-adventure and roleplay elements. Players were able to play as Sonic, Shadow, and the newly added Silver Hedgehog, each of whom had their own unique campaigns and missions. While the game sold reasonably well, it was met with intense criticism, much of which was aimed at its frustrating exciting camera system and story elements. With many older Sonic fans calling for a return to the simplistic gameplay of the Genesis, Sega decided to shift their development back to side-scrolling platformers. Naturally, the team developed 2010's Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1, a continuation of the Genesis series. While characters and objects are rendered in 3D, the game returned to a 2D style, with simpler design, controls, and story. A hit with fans, Sonic 4 Episode 2 followed in 2012. Continuing to target both new and old fans, for the series' 20th anniversary in 2010, Sega released Sonic Generations, a platform which saw classic Sonic and Tails teaming up with their modern counterparts to defeat Eggman. Ingeniously, Generations offered the option to play the entire game in either classic or modern mode, allowing players to choose between original side-scrolling perspective, albeit in 3D, or a more contemporary third-person view. This gimmick was utilised again in 25th anniversary game Sonic Forces in 2017, which additionally allowed players to use their own custom characters. Another 25th anniversary release, Sonic Mania, instead focused solely on 2D side-scrolling as an homage to the classics. Over the years, a number of Sonic web series have spawned as game tie-ins, including 2008's Night of the Werehog, a 3D haunted house adventure featuring Sonic and Chip, 2018's Sonic Mania Adventures, which bridges the gap between Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania, 2019's Team Sonic Racing Overdrive, set during the events of Team Sonic Racing, 2019's KO in Space, an in-universe movie inspired by Sonic Adventure, and 2021's Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisps, produced to tie in with the remastered edition of Sonic Colors Ultimate. All of the traditionally animated web shorts feature vibrant, limited digital animation and have been produced by Tyson Hess and Neko Productions. Similarly, Sonic continues to appear in cross-promotions, including a 2012 hybrid commercial for Progressive Insurance. As part of recent licensing deals, Sonic also found himself with cameos in Disney's 2012 animated classic Wreck-It Ralph, set within the video game world, and in its 2018 super crossover sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet, in an expository speaking role. Likewise, he appeared in Steven Spielberg's 2018 super crossover feature Ready Player One, in a couple of blink and you'll miss them moments. In 2014, Sega premiered a new animated series, Sonic Boom, produced with French studio We Do. The first Sonic series to be produced in CG animation, it followed the continuing efforts of Sonic and pals as they, often foolhardily, attempt to thwart the many evil schemes of Eggman and other villains. An action comedy adventure series, Sonic Boom was crafted specifically to win back Western audiences. With this new direction, characters were once more redesigned, with even longer limbs covered in sports tape. Sonic was given a scarf, Tails was given aviator goggles and a gadgetry belt, Amy was given a massive hammer, and Knuckles was made taller and burlier than the others. As all major changes, these were initially met with backlash. However, most fans agreed that these were better than some of the other proposed designs for the series. Running between 2014 and 2017 for 2 seasons and 104 episodes, more than any other Sonic series, Sonic Boom also spawned 3 spin-off side-scrolling platformers, as well as an 11-issue comic series published by Archie Comics. Running between 1993 and 2017 for 290 issues, Archie's main series of Sonic comics became the longest-running comic book series based on a video game, the longest-running comic book series based on a pre-existing franchise, and at one time was amongst the longest continually running comic series on the American market. Various side character spin-off series and specials resulted in almost 250 additional issues. In 2018, Sega moved licensing to American publisher IDW for a brand new Sonic the Hedgehog comic series. With much of the same staff transferring from the Archie comics, the new series began an entirely new continuity, drawing mainly on the games. Characters once again appeared in their more traditional modern designs. Currently ongoing, IDW's series surpassed 50 issues in June 2022 and has spawned multiple spin-off miniseries, numerous annuals and one-shots, and a 2021 30th anniversary graphic novel featuring stories inspired by the Genesis games. In 2020, Paramount Pictures released the first theatrical Sonic the Hedgehog movie, a CGI live-action hybrid. In the film, Sonic, voiced by Ben Schwartz, is living on Earth when he must team up with Green Hills police officer Tom, James Marsden, to recover his lost rings and defeat the evil Robotnik, Jim Carrey, who's on a mission to catch Sonic and harness the unlimited energy of his quills to power a robotic army. Initially, filmmakers gave Sonic a more realistic design, making him more human-like and giving him separate eyes, mangy fur, and newly designed sneakers. The release of the first trailer sparked immense backlash over his creepy, uncanny valley appearance, which persuaded the studio to rework Sonic into a more traditional design. Defying low expectations, the movie was highly praised by fans and general moviegoers, surpassing box office forecasts, heralding the biggest opening weekend for a video game adaptation, and becoming one of the year's highest grossing movies. A sequel was immediately fast-tracked, with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 releasing in 2022. The sequel saw Sonic and Tom once again going up against a vengeful Robotnik, now in full Eggman mode and out on a quest to steal a powerful emerald with world-shattering, reality-bending capabilities, leaning heavier into the video game lore. This time round, Sonic is assisted by Tails, voiced by video game voice artist Colleen O'Shaughnessy, while Robotnik enlists the help of Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba, who also has a vendetta against Sonic. Though Sonic 2 received mixed reception, it performed incredibly well at the box office, opening at number 1 in various markets globally, and again breaking the biggest opening weekend for a video game adaptation record, beating out the first movie by $13 million. Soon before release, Paramount not only announced Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was in the works, but a Knuckles series set to return Elba is being developed for Paramount Plus, opening the portal to a Sonic cinematic universe. Outside of the Sonic movieverse, Sega is set to release CG animated series Sonic Prime to Netflix in 2022, as part of a bid to continue strengthening the IP. Produced by Wildbrain, the 24-episode family series is described as a high-octane adventure that will see Sonic on a fresh, exciting, and epic journey of self-discovery and redemption, where a strange new multiverse rests in his gloved hands. The series is set to star modern Sonic, though given the multiverse angle, will likely see classic Sonic involved somehow too. While the most recent Sonic game, 2019's formulaic Team Sonic Racing, was met with lukewarm reception, Sega is treating Sonic fans for the franchise's 30th anniversary. Firstly, June 2022 saw the release of Sonic Origins, a collection of next-generation HD remasters of the original 4 games, with brand new shorts utilising traditional animation. Fans are also eagerly awaiting the next evolution of Sonic's gaming life, Sonic Frontiers. Set for the 2022 holiday season, this multi-platform adventure will be Sonic's very first open-world game, touted as an experience like never before, which will allow players to accelerate to new heights and experience the thrill of high-velocity open-zone freedom, while they battle powerful enemies across new realms. Reinventing Sonic for his 30th anniversary, creators have noted that they hope Frontiers will inform and set a template for the next decade of Sonic adventures to come, promising that 3 decades on, Sonic still has plenty of room to grow and countless surprises in store as he accelerates into the future at full speed. And at that, I'm throwing it over to you. I want to know, what is your favourite Sonic iteration, video game, or piece of media? Fire away with those thoughts down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to watch more Evolution videos, you can check them out via the playlist on your screen.